Hey, and welcome to my channel about living in and moving to Denver, Colorado. I'm Katie, the real estate gal, and as a young professional myself, I moved here by myself 5 years ago without knowing a single thing. So I want to be talking about the top 4 places that you should be looking at if you're moving here as a young professional. Let's get started. I'm Katie, the real estate gal, and if you are interested in learning more about Colorado, Denver, and its surrounding areas, this is the channel for you. So please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you get notified whenever I release a video, which is twice a week. Also, I am a licensed real estate agent in this state, so if you are thinking about buying or selling or anything in between, I'm your gal, and I would absolutely love to help you. So let's get into those neighborhoods that are best to look at if you are a young professional coming to Denver, Colorado. The very first place to look, and I might be a little biased because this is actually where I moved when I moved here, is Capitol Hill. Capitol Hill has a lot going on. There's a lot of people that live there. It's just a little bit southeast of downtown Denver, and they have a great music scene with the Bluebird Theater and the Fillmore, and they have a ton of unique restaurants and bars, kind of like your towny bars, some ethnic food. First Ethiopian place that I've ever eaten at was in Capitol Hill. There's also this really cool kava bar, and I'd never heard of kava before. It's unlike beer or wine, but I'm definitely a foodie, and I love trying those places that you can't find in every city or in every neighborhood. The best way to get around in Capitol Hill is going to be electric scooter, the electric bikes, walking, or Lyfts and Ubers are super popular as well. It is worth mentioning that parking is very tricky. If you don't have a designated spot for your car and you live in Capitol Hill, it might be worth a little bit of an investment, a monthly fee, to either have off-street parking or park in a garage, because you will be circling the block if you're coming home right after traditional work hours, or you're gonna be walking a couple blocks. So if you're okay with that and you know that, then that's fine, but pretty much parking is very tricky. The type of housing that you're gonna find most in Capitol Hill is gonna be apartment complexes, condos. It's very rare that you're gonna have a single family home. You will see those every so often, but they're definitely not gonna have yards like you would see if you move a little bit outside of Denver Metro. If you're moving here and you don't wanna buy a place right away, it's really great to get an apartment there, because then you can just kind of walk around, get a feel for everything. And then you can decide what neighborhood you'd like to move to after that. Speaking of walking, a really great park to venture to if you are walking through the Capitol Hill area is Cheeseman Park. It's not Cheeseman, it's Cheeseman. You're gonna find a lot of people that are biking and walking, rollerblading. During the summer, people like to have picnics in the park or set up a volleyball court. And people are traditionally pretty friendly. I've walked up to a couple volleyball nets and asked, hey, do you guys come here weekly? I'd love to join. And I typically get a pretty positive response to that. There will be events that happen in Cheeseman Park as well. And a really cool kind of secret fact about Cheeseman Park is the Denver Botanic Gardens is right next door. So if you have an annual membership at the Denver Botanic Gardens, you can actually go through a kind of secret entranceway from Cheeseman Park into the gardens. Not a lot of people know about that. The Botanic Gardens is a really great spot to go and watch live music during the summer. They have a concert series there, tons of networking events, and then there's Blossoms of Lights that's during the winter, where they deck out the entire gardens in these beautiful lights, and people can just walk around. You get hot chocolate, and they have little vendors in the inside area. So that's definitely something to check out. Second neighborhood to check out if you are a young professional moving to the Denver, Colorado area is the Highlands. I love the Highlands. It's a little bit more sophisticated compared to Capitol Hill, and the name kind of describes where it is. If you think of downtown Denver, you're gonna cross one of the busiest interstates, and the Highlands are higher than the city. So there's a lot of really great rooftop bars and spaces to go that kind of look over the downtown Denver skyline. For transportation, you're not gonna see as many scooters and bikes because it is a little bit on a hill, but it's definitely still walkable. It's really great distance from Coors Field in downtown Denver, but it has its own little nightlife scene as well, which leads me into the bars and restaurants. If you haven't figured figured out already, I love trying new restaurants and bars. I try to avoid those chains. The Highlands has a really great selection of bars and restaurants. A couple mentionables that you wouldn't want to miss are Avanti. Avanti is a stacked bar, restaurant, kind of collective eatery where there's different bays that are on every single level. And so you could get pizza, pasta, burgers, really a lot of different items. And it's a great spot to go to if you have a group of people. And if you're able to get a seat outside, you can overlook the downtown Denver skyline. Right across the way is another bar called Happy Camper, which is super, super trendy. One of the drinks that you have to get if you love tequila, like I do, is a spicy tequila cocktail with the flamingo in it. Can't remember the name of it, but it's like you get this adorable little cute pink flamingo and it has a hint of spice to it. It's delicious. Also, I'm not a huge pizza fan, unpopular opinion, but their pizza crust is so good. It's almost like a croissant pizza dough combo. And then the different ingredients and pre-made selections that they have are pretty dang good. Within walking distance to that, you have to go to Little Man Ice Cream. I'm a huge ice cream snob, and I should actually do a video about the top 5 ice cream places to go to in Denver, Colorado, but Little Man blows all of the other ones out of the water. They have homemade ice cream, and they're kind of funky flavors. They always have a vegan option, they have sorbets, they have homemade waffle cones, ice cream sandwiches with cookies. The Space Galaxy flavor is one of my favorites. It's like a blackberry ice cream, and it has marshmallow swirl and brownies and like chocolate chunks in it. Absolutely amazing. And one of the best, kind of most iconic parts of it is the venue itself, or the restaurant, if you will, is a giant milk jug. So all of the workers are in the center, and then if you stand back, you're looking at a giant milk jug. It's so funny, it's so cute. My mom actually did the research for me before I moved to Denver, Colorado, and she found that it's a good ice cream spot if there's a line around the corner in the winter. So just know that there will be a line, but it is absolutely worth it. The style of homes that you're gonna find in the Highlands are mostly row homes. So you're gonna have sharing walls with your neighbors. There's a lot of rooftop areas, kind of rooftop lounge areas. You're not gonna find too many single family homes unless you move a little bit more towards the west, and they can have a small yard, but it's not gonna be a big yard. And the homes are pretty close by each other. Also, because the Highlands is higher up than the downtown area, you're gonna find a lot of rooftop bars. Some other mentionables are gonna be L5, which has a Mediterranean twist to it, but it's one of the best views that you're gonna get in Denver. And then that restaurant chain also has a restaurant called Linger, which is right next door, which has a lot of different cuisines from different areas. But they're also gonna have a really adorable rooftop bar to check out as well. Third location to check out is RiNo. RiNo has a ton of warehouses and used to be known as kind of a ghetto or unsafe place to be. They have completely changed and developed since then. So RiNo is gonna be a lot more spread out. If you think of downtown Denver, it's just north. And because everything is more spread out, you're not gonna find a ton of skyscrapers or really tall buildings. You are still gonna find some apartment complexes, a lot of those row homes where they're 3 or 4 levels high, and then they might have a rooftop lounge or a seating area up top. But again, it's pretty spread out, so you're gonna find a ton of scooters and bikes. There are some bars and restaurants that you can walk from place to place, but it's probably gonna be easiest to find those ride shares, scooters, and bikes. Parking isn't terrible in RiNo, so I wouldn't necessarily pay extra for an off-street parking spot unless that's something that you're really interested in, or if it comes with the building. But I typically don't have that big of an issue compared to the Highlands and Capitol Hill. If you're a fan of breweries or microbreweries, RiNo is definitely the spot for you. A couple of the major breweries are Epic Brewing, Blue Moon, Great Divide. And because their locations are so large, sometimes they'll have holiday markets or events during the summer. Speaking of events, Zeppelin Station is a really cool spot to check out. It's one of those collective eateries, kind of what I was mentioning earlier, where there's a ton of different types of restaurants and bars. There's sushi and sandwiches, Mexican, there's some local little boutiques that are with it too. It's 2 levels. And then when the weather is nice, there's it's called a bazaar market. So it's over 100 vendors that come and they serve alcohol, and they have all of these little boutique small businesses that you can walk around. If you look at an aerial shot of RiNo, you're gonna see a lot of train tracks and kind of cargo moving through. Also, one of the benefits of RiNo is there is a light rail stop. and a parking area where you can park, take the light rail to the airport if you're going on vacation. So that's super convenient. And of course you can use that stop even if you don't live in RiNo, but it's a convenience factor. You could always walk or scooter to that station and then take it to the airport. Also super convenient if you have friends visiting. One of the cool things about RiNo is Mission Ballroom is a brand new venue that they just built, but it can house about 2,500 people. And it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. There's no apartment complexes or houses that are so close to it that there's gonna be noise issues. But every time I do my what's going on this weekend on my Instagram and Facebook channels, I'm always sure to find out what is playing at Mission Ballroom, just like Red Rocks is always a spot to go look to see if anyone big is performing, or Ball Arena, or Empower Field where the Broncos play. So RiNo has a lot to offer. And there is one other venue that I do wanna mention. It's not technically in RiNo, but it is pretty dang close. You just hop I-70 and you're pretty much there. It's Grizzly Rose. I'm a huge country fan, and Grizzly Rose can also house about 2,500 people as well. They have live music every single night. I think they're open 6 nights a week. They have changed it because of COVID, and they're just getting back in the groove, but they have been established since 1989, and they have a giant dance floor. They have bulls that you can ride. They have food, drinks, and even if you don't know country or don't know how to dance, it's such a great people watching spot. Moving on to the fourth and final spot that you have to check out if you are a young professional moving to Denver, Colorado, is Cherry Creek. Now, Cherry Creek is going to be one of the ritzier it is the ritzy neighborhood compared to all of the other 3 that have been listed. But just like all of the other 3 areas, you are going to be amongst nightlife, things going on, people watching, and close to downtown where there's a lot of opportunity to meet people and network, make friends. And the thing about Cherry Creek is you will be spending a little bit more than the other 3 that we have been talking about. And what I mean by that is there are a ton of designers in Cherry Creek. Name brands, great shopping, but it is gonna be on the pricier side. There's the Cherry Creek Mall that has pretty much everything that you can possibly think of. And then there's surrounding areas right across from the mall that are really great to walk outside. It's like an outdoor mall essentially, but really fantastic boutiques and art galleries. One of the great things about being in Cherry Creek is you are really close to Wash Park. Wash Park has a ton of trails for biking, walking your dog, rollerblading, skateboarding. There's basketball courts, a huge jungle gym play structure. I grew up with calling it a play structure, but I think it's called a playground. And then a ton of grass space that is popping during the summer when it's volleyball season. And that's a really great place to meet people too. Volleyball of the Rockies is an organization. Every single Wednesday during the summer or Thursday, there are volleyball nets everywhere. There have to be over like 1,000 people that are playing volleyball. It's so fun, great way to meet people. And typically games start at like 6 o'clock and then you play until the sun goes down. And in the summer, when the daylight is going until like 9 or 9:30, volleyball is definitely a great time. So with Cherry Creek Living, if you want to actually house there, you're gonna find a ton of apartment complexes. There's gonna be condos. There are some row homes and then multi-million-dollar properties. There is parking in Cherry Creek, but please be aware that those parking meter people are on it like hawks. If your meter is expired or if you're just running up to your building really quick, make sure you pay the meter because they ticket like crazy there. I don't see a lot of scooters or electric bikes. People do walk places, but it's mostly Lyfts, Ubers, or they drive their own car. You're gonna see some really nice cars that are in the Cherry Creek area. Some mentionables for Cherry Creek would be the bar called Forget Me Not. They have the most fun cocktails. One of them is blue. It's in a coupe glass and it has a nice layer of foam on top, and then the smallest little rubber ducky. Not cheap, but it's so cute. Really, everything needs to be Instagrammable these days. And I think Cherry Creek in its own is really great at making those kind of craft cocktails. Another one of my favorite places to go is Toro. Toro is kind of a Latin Mexican vibe, and they have a Mercado margarita that is a yellow drink with a pink foam on top, and it kind of just fizzles down and makes the entire drink hot pink. They also have ceviche and tacos. The ambiance is really nice, super trendy lighting. They even have a little courtyard patio. Oh, and I just remembered one of my favorite desserts Like I said, everything needs to be Instagrammable. So it's a chocolate sphere that they've filled with ice cream and kind of like an orchid, and then the little meringue kisses. And what they do is they put down a clear plastic mat. They take that ball and they drop it on there and then pour a strawberry yuzu sauce as well as a vanilla egg glaze on top of it. So fun, so much sugar. I'd recommend sharing that with 4 or 5 people, but super unique and fun. I'm telling you right now, as somebody who moved here 5 years ago, completely blind without doing any research, there are a lot more neighborhoods than the 4 that I've mentioned in this video. So you have to reach out and let me know how I can help you based off of your lifestyle, where you work, what you want to do, where you want to be, style of home, and I'll help guide you in the right direction. Call, text, or email the number on your screen, days, nights, or weekends, and I'm more than happy to help you move to Denver, Colorado.